Think you know the Tudor Dynasty? Think again. Forget the dry history books. We're talking about 100 years of pure chaos, ambition, and backstabbing that changed England forever. It's a story packed with more drama than any TV show. You've got Henry VIII, a king so obsessed with having a son, he tore a country apart, beheaded 2 of his 6 wives, and basically created his own church just to get what he wanted. We'll dive deep into the Tudor scandals that the textbooks are too scared to mention. Why wasn't Boleyn really executed? Was it treason or something far more personal and sinister? Then there's the story of his children, each clawing for the throne. You have the boy King Edward, the tragic 9-day Queen Lady Jane Grey, and the infamous Bloody Mary, who burned hundreds at the stake in a desperate attempt to reverse her father's revolution. And finally, the icon herself, Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen. She ruled for over 40 years, a woman in a man's world, facing down assassination plots, the Spanish Armada, and constant pressure to marry. But behind the powerful image was a web of secrets. We'll explore her complicated, and maybe even romantic, relationship with Robert Dudley. Was he the love of her life, and did their secret affair have deadly consequences? This isn't just a dusty chapter of English history. It's a saga of passion, power, and paranoia. We lines uncover how Henry VIII's obsession with the male heir led to a religious firestorm that still impacts the world today. We'll look at the real people behind the portraits, their fears, their loves, and the ruthless decisions they made to survive. What was it like to live in the Tudor court, where one wrong word could cost you your head? We'll examine the spies, the plots, and the brutal punishments that kept everyone in line. We'll also look beyond the throne. What was life like for the average person during this turbulent time? How did the massive religious and political shifts affect everyday families? We'll explore the dark side of Tudor England, the poverty, the disease, and the constant threat of rebellion. From the glittering palaces to the grimy streets of London, we're going to paint a complete picture of this fascinating era. This series will break down the biggest myths about the Tudors. Was Henry VIII really the overweight tyrant we see in portraits from the start? How did Elizabeth I use fashion and propaganda to build her legendary image? We'll analyze the letters, diaries, and secret documents to piece together the truth behind the Tudor scandals. We'll talk about the Boleyn family's incredible ambition and their catastrophic fall from grace. We'll discuss the powerful men who tried to control the Tudor queens and how those queens fought back. Get ready for a deep dive into one of the most compelling periods in all of history. We lines cover everything from the bloody Battle of Bosworth Field that put the Tudors on the throne to the golden age of exploration and art under Elizabeth I. It is a story of how one family's personal drama shaped a nation and laid the groundwork for the British Empire. Join us as we unravel the secrets, the lies, and the legacies of the Tudor dynasty. You'll see Henry VIII and Boleyn and Elizabeth I in a whole new light. We'll investigate the psychological toll of being a Tudor. Imagine being one of Henry's children, never knowing if you were in favor or facing the executioner's block. We'll look at the intense pressure on Elizabeth I to produce an heir and the clever ways she navigated the political minefield of European royalty. We'll also explore the lesser-known figures, the schemers, and the victims whose stories are just as gripping as the monarchs they served. This is the real story of the Tudors, told with all the shocking, scandalous, and spectacular details left in. We lines connect the dots between a king's desire for a son and a century of turmoil that redefined a nation. From the Field of the Cloth of Gold to the dungeons of the Tower of London, we are going on a journey through the highs and lows of England's most notorious royal family. This is the history they didn't teach you in school. So, if you're fascinated by tales of power, betrayal, and survival, you've come to the right place. We're stripping away the myths to reveal the raw, human story of the Tudor dynasty. We'll look at the evidence, question the motives, and explore the conspiracies. What really happened to the princes in the Tower, and did the Tudors have a hand in it? Why did Elizabeth I never marry? And how close did England come to collapsing back into civil war? Prepare to be captivated by the larger-than-life characters and the jaw-dropping events of the Tudor era. This is more than just a history lesson. It's an epic adventure filled with intrigue and suspense. We'll bring the past to life, showing you the real faces behind the famous names and the true stories behind the legends. From the rise of Henry VII to the death of Elizabeth I, this is the ultimate guide to the Tudor dynasty. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey back in time. If you love history that feels more like a thriller, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you won't want to miss a single episode of this series. We're about to uncover the secrets of the Tudors, and trust me, the truth is stranger and more shocking than you could ever imagine.
History isn't just what happened, it's what was hidden. Welcome to the Chrono Archives, where lost empires rise again, forgotten legends speak, and ancient truths are brought back to life. From world-shaping history and powerful myths to legendary rulers and timeless civilizations, every story here is carefully uncovered, deeply researched, and cinematically told. The past is calling, will you answer? Subscribe and journey through time, one unforgettable chronicle at a time.
From the ashes of a brutal civil war, a new dynasty rose to forge modern England. This is the story of the House of Tudor, a tale of ambition, faith, betrayal, and power that forever changed the course of British royal history. Our story begins in 1485. At the bloody climax of the Wars of the Roses, for 30 years, the houses of Lancaster and York had torn England apart in their quest for the crown. At the Battle of Bosworth Field, a Welsh nobleman named Henry Tudor, with a distant and debatable claim to the throne, challenged the formidable King Richard III. Against the odds, Henry was victorious. He was crowned King Henry VII, and to unite the warring factions, he married Elizabeth of York, merging the Red Rose of Lancaster with the White Rose of York into the new Tudor Rose. The Tudor dynasty had begun. Henry VII's reign was one of careful consolidation. He was a shrewd and pragmatic king, obsessed with securing his dynasty and refilling the kingdom's empty coffers. He avoided costly foreign wars, strength and royal finances, and ruthlessly suppressed any lingering challenges to his rule. He built a stable foundation, but his son would shake it to its very core. Enter Henry VIII, the most infamous king in English history. Young, handsome, and athletic, Henry was the complete opposite of his cautious father. His reign is defined by one single, all-consuming obsession, the desperate need for a male heir. This quest led him through 6 marriages and triggered a cataclysmic break with the past. His first wife, Catherine of Aragon, gave him only a daughter, Mary. Desperate for a son and infatuated with Anne Boleyn, Henry sought an annulment from the Pope. When the Pope refused, Henry took an unprecedented step. He broke away from the Roman Catholic Church, declared himself the supreme head of the Church of England, and began the English Reformation. This act plunged the kingdom into religious turmoil. Monasteries were dissolved, their wealth seized by the crown, and those who resisted the new order faced brutal consequences. Henry's wives met varied and often tragic fates: divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. He finally got his male heir, Edward, with his third wife, Jane Seymour. But Henry VIII's legacy was one of profound and violent change, creating a nation divided by faith and a monarchy with unprecedented power. Upon Henry's death, his 9-year-old son, Edward VI, took the throne. A frail but fiercely Protestant boy king, his short reign was dominated by his regents, who pushed England further down the path of Protestant reform. Churches were stripped of their Catholic imagery, and a new Book of Common Prayer was introduced. But Edward's reign was cut short by illness. He died at just 15, triggering a succession crisis that would bring his half-sister to power. Mary I, daughter of Catherine of Aragon, was a devout Catholic. She was determined to reverse the Protestant Reformation and return England to the Roman Catholic fold. Her methods were brutal. In her 5-year reign, nearly 300 Protestants were burned at the stake for heresy, earning her the grim nickname Bloody Mary. Her marriage to Philip II of Spain was deeply unpopular, and her reign was marked by religious persecution and political failure. When Mary died childless, the crown passed to her final sibling, Elizabeth I, daughter of Anne Boleyn. Her ascension in 1558 marked the beginning of a new era. Known as the Virgin Queen, Elizabeth was a masterful politician who ruled for over 4 decades. She navigated the treacherous waters of religion with her Elizabethan settlement, a compromise that established a moderate Protestant Church of England while allowing for some private Catholic worship. Her reign was a golden age. English culture flourished with figures like William Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe. Explorers like Sir Francis Drake circumnavigated the globe, challenging the might of Spain. Life in Tudor England was a study in contrasts. For the nobility at court, it was a world of lavish feasts, intricate fashion, and dangerous political intrigue, where a wrong word could lead to the Tower of London and the executioner's block. For the common person, life was short and hard, governed by the seasons and the local church. The Tudor era saw the rise of a new merchant class and the expansion of cities, but also widespread poverty and social unrest. The greatest challenge of Elizabeth's reign came in 1588. Philip II of Spain, angered by English piracy and Elizabeth's support for Protestant rebels in the Netherlands, launched the Spanish Armada. A massive fleet of 130 ships set sail to invade England and restore Catholicism. England, a small island nation, faced impossible odds. But a combination of English naval tactics, daring seamanship, and a powerful storm the Protestant wind decimated the Spanish fleet. The victory was a defining moment for England, cementing its status as a major naval power and securing the future of Protestantism. Despite her triumphs, Elizabeth faced the same problem that had plagued her father: succession. She never married and had no children. As she grew older, the question of who would follow her loomed large. Upon her death in 1603, the direct Tudor line ended. The crown passed to her cousin, James VI of Scotland, who became James I of England, uniting the crowns of England and Scotland and beginning the Stuart dynasty. So, why does the Tudor dynasty still fascinate us centuries later? They were more than just kings and queens, they were architects of the nation. They created the Church of England, established the Royal Navy as a formidable force, and elevated the power of the monarchy to new heights. From Henry VII's calculated statecraft to Henry VIII's revolutionary break with Rome, and from Elizabeth I's golden age to the defeat of the Armada, the House of Tudor laid the foundations for the British Empire and shaped the political, religious, and cultural identity of England for centuries to come. Their story is a powerful reminder that the actions of a few can echo through history, defining the world we live in today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into British royal history, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell for more stories that shaped our world. The Tudor story is more than just a chapter in a history book. It's a saga of ambition, faith, and power that forged a nation. From the blood-soaked field of Bosworth, a new dynasty rose from the ashes of war, promising peace and stability. For over a century, 5 monarchs, each with their own passions, fears, and visions, steered England through one of its most turbulent and transformative periods. Henry VII, the shrewd founder, stitched a fractured kingdom back together with cautious diplomacy and a full treasury. He laid the foundation, but it was his son, Henry VIII, who would shatter it. A king of colossal appetites and even greater ego, his desperate quest for a male heir severed a 1,000-year-old bond with Rome. He tore down monasteries, executed wives and ministers, and in his wake, created the Church of England, setting the stage for centuries of religious conflict. His actions were not just political, they were deeply personal, driven by love, lust, and a profound fear of his dynasty's extinction. Then came the children, each a product of their father's tumultuous reign. Edward VI, the boy king, a fervent Protestant whose reforms were as radical as his life was short. His reign was a glimpse into a future that never fully came to be, a zealous attempt to purify the nation's soul. His death plunged the kingdom into crisis, leading to the tragic 9-day reign of Lady Jane Grey, a pawn in a deadly Game of Thrones whose only crime was her bloodline. Out of this chaos emerged Mary I, England's first queen regnant. History remembers her as Bloody Mary, a Catholic monarch determined to reverse her father's revolution. Her tragedy was that of a woman caught between her faith and her crown, her love for her husband and her country unrequited. Her reign, though brief, was a fiery testament to the deep divisions scarring the land, a painful reminder that matters of faith could be settled with fire and blood. And then there was Elizabeth, the Virgin Queen, Gloriana, the daughter of the disgraced Anne Boleyn. She inherited a bankrupt and divided nation. For over 40 years, she navigated a treacherous world of spies, assassins, and foreign fleets. With political genius and a flair for propaganda, she forged a new English identity. She defeated the Spanish Armada, sponsored explorers who circled the globe, and presided over a golden age of culture, giving us Shakespeare and Marlowe. She was a master of compromise, a survivor who turned her perceived weaknesses, her gender, her unmarried status, into her greatest strengths. She never married, claiming she was wedded to her kingdom. With her death, the Tudor line ended, but the England she left behind was stronger, more confident, and ready to become a global power. The Tudor legacy is etched into the very fabric of modern Britain. It's in the monarchy's relationship with Parliament, the existence of the Church of England, and the Royal Navy's dominance of the seas. It's a story of how personal desires can reshape a nation, how faith can be both a source of comfort and a weapon of war, and how one family's drama could set the course for millions. They were tyrants and visionaries, saints and sinners. They built palaces and sent heads rolling from the executioner's block. They were patrons of the arts and persecutors of dissent. They gave us breathtaking beauty and unspeakable cruelty. Their story is a mirror reflecting our own struggles with power, belief, and identity. It shows us that history is not a dry collection of dates and facts, but a vibrant, human drama driven by the same passions that drive us today. The Tudors may be long gone, but their ghosts still walk the halls of power, their triumphs and tragedies a timeless lesson in what it means to rule, to believe, and to endure. Their reign was a spectacle of power, a revolution of faith, and the birth of an empire. And that is a story that will never lose its power to fascinate, to horrify, and to inspire. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of history's most compelling dynasties. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories that shaped our world.
As we close this chapter of the Chrono Archives, remember, the past is never truly gone. It waits patiently in the shadows of forgotten ruins, in the echoes of ancient voices, and in the timeless lessons that still guide us today. It waits to be remembered by curious minds like yours. Thank you for joining us on this extraordinary journey through the annals of time. If today's exploration of lost civilizations, mythical legends, or historical enigmas ignited your passion for the past, hit that like button. Drop a comment with your favorite moment or what you'd love to see next, and most importantly, subscribe to the Chrono Archives and continue the journey through time. Turn on notifications so you never miss an episode where we unearth buried secrets, decode ancient mysteries, and bring history's greatest stories back to life. Together, we'll keep the flame of the past burning bright. Until next time, fellow time travelers, keep questioning, keep discovering, and keep remembering. The Chrono Archives, where the past lives forever.